Huh. Very interesting. Sony pulling PS Now cards in the UK, making headlines on gaming sites today. Happened a few weeks ago in the US. Very interesting. So, hello. Welcome back. So yeah, as you can see, Jason Schreier has now reported that Sony is pulling PS Now cards in the UK, and yeah, that's kind of interesting. I will say though, if they are going to pull this, they definitely need to bring back PlayStation 3, 2, 1 games, and make them buyable within the PlayStation Store, and then otherwise they could do whatever they else want with Spartacus. But yeah, at the very least, I think they need to start off with that before they add anything else to Spartacus. So, welcome back. Another interesting week. I will say, though, the Sony pulling PS Now cards is probably the most interesting one, just strictly for the fact that they were pushing PS Now for a long time, and, well, now they're getting rid of it. And so, I mean, if the rumors are true about Spartacus, at least if the old rumors are true, then it's basically just going to be an Xbox Game Pass, but, with Sony stuff. But I also feel like they have a way to jump on this by also adding, older games to the store and making them playable instead of just having to get PS Now to play the old games. Because I definitely think, for those that wanted to play like the original Ratchet and Clank series, they should, if they put that on the store, people will buy it. I think I'd be one of those. If they pull some other games from the past, who knows? Maybe you could like revitalize the multiplayer scene for those, or maybe just bring it back up for a little bit. I just think there's a lot of things you could do with this. I'm just not sure how much Sony's willing to put time into it. But let's jump into the other news, shall we? Alright, so this is another thing that I really wanted to talk about. Halo Infinite's cosmetics are about to get cheaper. We're focused on reducing pricing across the board, says 343's head of design. So, one of the few things that Halo Infinite was definitely criticized for was the fact that its cosmetics were, to basically put it, very expensive. Now, as a free-to-play game, you gotta find a way to monetize, and people are like, yeah, this is not quite the way to do it. And so, yeah, when the free multiplayer portion of Halo Infinite launched this year, players weren't thrilled about its microtransactions, seemed expensive, customization points that have been standard in previous Halo games were locked behind paywalls, while cosmetics could be earned by completing challenges. People wanted these rewards focused on challenges instead of playing the objectives, which frustrated other players, and it was a tad bit of a mess. So, yeah, basically, how they handled the multiplayer side of things in terms of the monetization and progression was a little messy at best. And this is at least one of the few steps they have taken to help with the multiplayer side of things, because I think on a true gameplay-wise way of looking at it, Halo Infinite is still probably one of the best games that was released recently. But of course, those that are playing for the Battle Pass and they're playing for the challenges, yeah, they're not playing the objective, and so I get the frustration with those players that have seen that and have personally faced it. And then for the cosmetics, they're making it cheaper, and so it makes it more accessible. And I'm pretty sure that Microsoft did this to, increase the amount of money they can get. Because sure, you may have lower priced cosmetics, but when more people buy it, you may be able to get more money than if you made it super high priced and then made people only have a few people buy those cosmetics. It's the opposite way of what Valorant's doing, where you have to pay like upwards of what's the newest bundle? Is it like greater than $60, right, or something like that? And it's kind of crazy how much money you have to pay. Now, granted, in Valorant, you only pay for gun customization because there are no character skins to ensure the integrity of the game. And so they said, we're not going to change player models, we will only be changing gun cosmetics. So, I mean, I kind of get why Valorant's prices are a little bit higher, but I still think it's a bit oppressively so. But that's just my opinion. So, let me know what you think in the comments down below about Halo Infinite's prices getting changed a little bit. I think it's a good thing, just overall, because more people get more cosmetics, and, yeah, it's cheaper, too. We should eat the rich. Interesting. But no, honestly, the fact that somehow they're making 1 to 1,560 in terms of, like, a ratio pay gap, that's crazy to me. Because, to put it lightly, these game companies are not, at least the CEOs are not doing that much, I think, in terms of programming and that much decision making. Sure, they are the ones that are actively probably like setting up projects and then saying, make this product, but like how much time and thought do they put in the Call of Duty games? Like, really? Sure, every few years or so they come up with a new, distinct multiplayer setting. And so, for example, I remember Black Ops was the original pick 10 system, and that was really popular for a while. And then recently Modern Warfare 2019, I believe the year it was, that one they changed the gun customization so that you could put on at least 5 attachments, and then they gave you a ton of customization. So, I mean, sure, I'm not going to say that they aren't, like, changing the game, but 1 to 1,566, I just feel like you gotta pay your workers a little bit more. That's how you get good workers, if they're happy and they're getting paid. And you also don't get people constantly leaving the games industry, and yeah. But what do I know? I don't know, I'm no CEO. I'm just some guy on the internet talking about how top CEO game companies are getting compensated for $842 million. Wow, that's insane. Interesting. NFTs taking away things from other people and then trying to sell it for their own? Interesting. But yeah, no, so honestly, this is just abhorrent. For reference, Troy Baker wanted to get into NFTs and basically have a voice pack, so he would record lines or something, or like they'd use his voice, and so then you can have an NFT of it and use it somehow. I don't know how it'd be exclusive and all, but like they had some system. But then this user basically said, yeah, my vocal work is being used inappropriately, and I'm just like, wow. That's crazy. We've never seen this pattern before with artists, It's just crazy to me. But so yeah, it's kind of maddening just how stupid this shit is. But maybe NFTs will die, or Troy Baker will have to get canceled for his NFT usage, especially since he supports a company that did this shit. So I don't know. Who knows? I'm just a random guy on the internet spouting out about how NFTs are bad. Am I new? No, I'm not. So something very interesting. Phil Spencer basically talked about Activision's partnership with Xbox Live, and basically talking about how they're doing doing things differently with the company due to the recent sexual assault and harassment allegations directed towards Activision Blizzard. And so it's really interesting to see that Phil Spencer acknowledges that Xbox had some, let's say, very bad past events. So as you can read here, we have changed how we do certain things with them, and they're aware of that. But this isn't about for us as Xbox virtue shaming other companies. Xbox's history is not spotless, and yeah, Jason Schreier here points out that Kilgore, the former Blizzard CTO, who was accused of sexual harassment in the California lawsuit in various media reports, was at Xbox for nearly 14 years before he went to Blizzard. And so yeah, but if you want to read more into this, I'll send a link of the whole interview. But yeah, basically Phil Spencer was like, yeah, we, not to say that we can't call out companies for doing bad shit, but it isn't like we are perfect either. And this is one perfect example. So it's really great to see that companies are acknowledging that, their past aren't that great, but then they're actively trying to make changes towards it. Phil Spencer, based man, super based, basically said, yeah, Xbox's history is not spotless, and I think there's more that we can do. And I think so too. But obviously nowadays, I haven't heard of anything yet. Watch tomorrow, I send this video out, oh, look at this. Well, we have sexual harassment claims against Xbox, but at least as of now, Phil Spencer's done a lot to turn the company around, or at least the Xbox division around. And it's super great to see that, Phil Spencer isn't just like, oh yeah, Xbox, Activision Blizzard, you guys, done messed up. Shame on you. He's still saying, yeah, you messed up. But it isn't like he could talk, or at least his division can't talk that much. So I really appreciate what Phil Spencer's doing here. But of course, we just got to do better. So long as Phil Spencer doesn't do anything, bad, and he stops all sexual harassment claims within his own division, then yeah, I think when he says, Xbox history is not spotless, it's not, sure, but at least he can when he's working there, he can change that. And then he'd be able to virtue shame. I think he'd be allowed that much as so long as, he keeps with the non-sexual harassment things happening at his group of people. at his division at Xbox, because Microsoft's the head company. Yeah, his division. And another thing about just companies in general, really interesting to see that Take-Two is buying Zynga, and yeah, that's kind of interesting. I will say that I'm a little surprised that you're trying it now, especially when Fortnite moved their Battle Royale onto the phone. Then other companies started trying moving too. Apex Legends is trying to get theirs. Is trying to get their game on the phone. I think it's in closed beta or open beta in certain places. COD had, COD Mobile. So it's kind of interesting to see that Take-Two's only now jumping onto this. Because, I don't know. I just feel like out of all companies, Take-Two would have tried to make Rockstar put their games on the mobile phones. But, I guess it's better late than never that they're trying, but yeah. I don't know. So, we'll see exactly how this pans out and whether or not Zynga will actually, do anything with Rockstar's properties or just Take-Two's properties in general and try to move it onto mobile. We'll see in the future. I'll keep my eyes out on this one. So, that's the end of this week's news. Really interesting to see, that some companies are being bought out, like Zynga by Take-Two, which Take-Two isn't great, but, it's kind of interesting to see how gaming companies are trying to move onto mobile, like it did when the first mobile boom happened. It's also interesting to see how NFTs are just shite, and yeah, we should not support that ever. I'm just saying, if you do, there's just a ton of, money laundering schemes, there's a ton of things that are happening right now. And I also feel like it destroys the purpose of the internet if we're trying to, disseminate information and, a ton of products. Why the heck do we have NFTs? Why are we having, digital scarcity? What's the point? Honestly, I have no clue, and I don't get it. But so, anyway, hopefully y'all guys had a good week, and I'll see y'all next week. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Interesting.